the game before the game. The Juneteenth celebrity softball game came down to a home run derby. And Matt Barnes wins the home run derby with that blast. Team Barnes beating Team Mookie tonight. As for the game coming up at 7 o'clock, the Dodgers reaching the finish line of this 10-game stretch with the Padres and Giants. A win would give them an 8-2 record and a 4.5-game lead in the National League West. Right now, let's send it upstairs, check in with the guys who will call this one. Joe Davis and Eric Karros in the booth with a preview. Hi there, Joe.
Hi, John. And really trying to put their foot down here. You know, they go into this series with the Padres last week, neck and neck. They take 2 of 3 down there and have a chance of their first 4-game sweep over the Padres since '09.
And they're doing a little something different tonight. It's not going to be a bullpen game. Yoshinobu Yamamoto gets the ball. Obviously been the most consistent starter the Dodgers have had all year. One of the things to watch for, though, tonight, that fastball. Since this month started, June, he's been elevating them more, and it hasn't gone well. He's got to keep it down around the knees. Also, the splitter in his last start, only 1 swing and miss. That's the fewest all year long. Looks to get some more of those this evening.
As John was talking about finishing up this stretch against the Padres and the Giants, they're also finishing up this 29-game stretch against nothing but contending teams at a time where they are as depleted as they're ever going to be. They got a chance to go 18-11 during that stretch.
And I think what that does is that speaks volumes of this roster construction. I mean, you can talk about every other club, and they've got this and they've got that. But nobody compares to the depth that the Dodgers offer. And whether that's at the starting staff, whether that's bullpen, whether that's position players, that's why the longer things go, the better the Dodgers' chances.
Yamamoto for the Dodgers, Ryan Bergert for the Padres. And first pitch coming up in just a few, John.
Joe and EK can't wait for this one. We'll see you in 15 minutes. And they were just talking about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Had an ERA of 0.9 in his first 7 starts of the season. Over his last 7, Adrian, the ERA is almost 4.5. The Dodgers haven't won any of his starts here in the month of June. Have you noticed anything with Yoshi that's led to somewhat un-Yoshi-like results?
You know, I really, you're going to go through times that you're really, really good at the mound. And then you're going to go through times where, you know, your pitches aren't coming out of your hand the same way. Or, you know, it's the ebbs and flows of the season. The only thing I'm seeing right now is the fact that his off-speed pitches are up in the zone a little bit. And the fastball, he's not executing it as precise. I'm not going to say he's not executing it. He's just not as precise with his fastball as he was earlier in the year. So, you know, you factor his fastball missing by a couple inches from where he wants to, and off-speed pitches being a little more up, is going to lead to a little bit, you know, of, you know, more runs scored against him.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right as far as with the fastball. We always say how fastball command is so key, right? And you know, he's so good at getting the corners, and sometimes you don't get that call. It's a little bit off, or he's just off just a hair, and then he finds himself with that fastball kind of catching way too much of the plate, and they're able to do damage with him. So, listen, I'm not worried about Yamamoto. I think he understands himself, and he's such a competitor. I expect him to kind of come out here today and go out there and try to dominate, and especially since this is one team. I know he hasn't faced them this year yet, but when you look back the way he's opened his debut over there, Korea, where they did damage to him, he's got over a 5 ERA against these guys.
Yeah. Well, and Dave Roberts said it Friday night after that game that he struggled against the Giants. Dave Roberts thought Yoshi was maybe a little bit too edgy with his pitches in that last game. And there's no doubt also, Nomar, that Yamamoto was squeezed by the home plate umpire in that game, and it caused him to walk 5 guys. Maybe at times it caused him to throw the ball a little bit too much in the middle of the plate. So I want to ask, like, how much can a home plate umpire really impact what you're doing as a hitter when you're standing in the box, and also if you're a pitcher like Yoshinobu Yamamoto?
Listen, it can impact you. You know, you're like, talked about there's some pitches there that were missed that were definitely strikes. Now all of a sudden it changes his line, right? It changes the amount of walks that he has, you know, and then it sets up, you know, potential home runs. So yeah, there are some pitches that, man, you get squeezed like that, it could have an impact. And I think we kind of saw that one in against Yamamoto. As a hitter, it's, I think, a little bit different because a pitcher, there's so many times they're throwing that pitch in the strike, whatever. So there's a tendency for a whole bunch of missed calls, you know, over a course of an outing. As a hitter, oftentimes, rarely do I ever felt like the umpire missed 3 calls on me. Yeah, they may miss 1 here and there, and it may be the one where I was, you know, it was a 3rd strike, and I'm really upset about that. But at the same time, I go back and I'm like, what happened to the other 2, you know? And so I kind of get on myself. But as for pitchers, I can understand where they feel maybe more has impact impact because they're throwing so many more pitches.
Yeah, I mean, I used to always ask for the umpire chart because there's charts on umpires that are handy so you know what his strike zone is like. Does he call the ball up and not down? Does he call it in and not out? And then that way you can create a game plan going up against that pitcher, knowing what his strengths and weaknesses are. So an umpire can have a huge impact on the pitcher. If a pitcher loves to pitch to the top of the zone, but that umpire doesn't call it, now he's got to adjust and bring the ball down a little bit. Now he can get hit. So there's many ways an umpire can have a huge factor, and one of them is not calling those edges.
Yeah. That's why I swung at the first pitch. I take the umpire out of it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's hit the ball.
That's why he hit 313 in his Major League career. All right, we're getting closer to first pitch at Dodgers Stadium, and after a 5-game winning streak, Yoshinobu Yamamoto and the Dodgers now a season-high 17 games over 500. With a win tonight, they would lead the Giants by 4.5 games in the NL West. Plus, it was a bit of a shaky ninth inning, but Justin Robleski got out of the jam and then got the win thanks to Will Smith's walk-off home run. We will hear from Robo coming up next. And career walk-off hits, 6 of them walk-off homers, including the +1 of 4+1 against the Padres. You get to go first.
Well, you know, I'm going to go with the guy who had a walk-off yesterday. I mean, since we're talking about it, I mean, this guy's been swinging the bat, moved up to the third spot. I think Will Smith has another good day.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a guy who has not gotten a hit the last couple of days. He is due. I know he's going to go out there, put the team on the board. First inning, first at bat, Shohei Ohtani. Let's go.
I love that. I'm going to go with the guy who was showing off his blazing speed last night, had his second triple of the season, Max Muncy. He's not going to have a triple tonight, but he's going to have a monster game in this one against the Padres. All right, so tonight is the end of the road for this 29-game stretch, a brutal stretch for the Dodgers where they've had to face the Padres 7 times, 7 games against the Mets. They had the World Series rematch as well. They had to go to St. Louis, had to go to Cleveland, Nomar. And yet, through it all, they have a chance to finish 18-11.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job. They knew this was a tough stretch. They have managed to play great baseball. They've managed through all the injuries, the bullpen, the offense. Collectively, they've done an amazing job.
They've been piecing it together in many ways, and they've done an incredible job hitting with runners in scoring position and limiting the opponents. Runners in scoring position hitting has been the key.
All right, Dodgers trying to make it 6 consecutive wins with Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound, looking for his first win here in the month of June. Right now, let's send it upstairs to the guys who will call it Joe Davis, Eric Karros. Guys, take it away.
All right, John, there's the hero from last night. Steps out of the bullpen after warming things up after he stepped out of the dugout to end the game last night. Sends one the other way, this time back towards the wall. It is gone! Will Smith ends the night. A pinch hit home run. And so with that, the Dodgers have won 7 of their last 9 games against the Padres and the Giants, who welcome inside Joe Davis, Eric Karros, Kirsten Watson in a moment. They have a chance today, Kay, to sweep the Padres in a 4-game series for the first time since 2009.
You know, I think game 1 of this series was probably the most anticipated, but the last 2 have been the most exciting. And we saw that highlight of Will Smith. I've seen 2 of the best at-bats I've seen all year long. They were both by the same guy, and they ended in the same way.
On back-to-back games. And as far as this team goes, you got MVPs across the board. It's really hard to crack the headlines and to get into what we talk about off the top of the show. Will Smith, we just showed. Andy Pages doing everything they can to become stars themselves.
So if you're talking about the beginning of the year, you're thinking names, Ohtani, Freeman, Betts. But it's been Andy Pages, it's been Will Smith. Both of these guys have been unreal. Andy Pages, if you would have said that he's leading the team in RBI or tied with the team leader, I'm thinking, man, we're having a tough year. But we're not. He's got 50 of those. Will Smith has been outstanding. These 2, we didn't see it coming, but we're sure happy it's here.
For being honest, might have said, oh, good for Oklahoma City.
Right.
Pages leading the team in RBIs. But Yamamoto takes the ball for the Dodgers tonight. And for more on him, here's Kirsten.
Thanks, Joe. And for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he's hoping to get back on track tonight. If you look at 2 of his last 3 starts, he hasn't been able to get through 5 innings of works, and that includes his last outing against the Giants. Afterwards, when he spoke to the media, he said he just felt like he wasn't hitting his spots. The command wasn't there. When he was trying to make those in-game adjustments, it just wasn't working for him. So was hoping to turn the page going into this one tonight. And even Dave Roberts said that he is due for a strong start, guys.
All right, Kirsten, the Dodgers due to have a traditional start from a guy tonight after they piece it together over the first few games. Going for the sweep, going for a 6th consecutive win. The final game between the Dodgers and the Padres coming up on Sportsnet LA. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Get so much more in the new T-Pain Munchie Meal. And by your local Kia dealers, visit Kia.com to discover movement that inspires. Yoshinobu Yamamoto and the Dodgers going for the 4-game sweep over the Padres and trying to keep on rolling here at Dodger Stadium as we take a look at the Old Spice fresh stats. Dodgers have the 3rd best record in baseball at home. 28 of their 40 games in this ballpark have ended victorious, and they got their 6th walk-off win last night by a final of 4-3. So here comes Yamamoto. First month plus of the season, he was the best pitcher in the National League, but he gave up 5 runs against the Giants on Friday, and really now going back the last month plus, not quite as good. 2-3 with a 4.46 since early May.
No, but one of the things is he's making all of his starts. So from that standpoint, you like the health. And there's going to be ebbs and flows throughout the course of the season. But as you mentioned, Joe, he hasn't been as sharp. Take a look at 14 starts this year. That ERA, sure, it does look good. But as you mentioned, he's been getting dinged up just a little bit. The 8 home runs allowed, but still, that batting average under 200. So here's what he did in May versus what he's doing in June. You look at that 4-seamer, and you see that it was basically unhittable through May, but it's getting hit a lot more. Reason why? Take a look at that graphic right there. That fastball is elevated. He's up in the 100%, yet we're dominating right now.
A very pronounced pause in this delivery for Yamamoto. It's a line drive to Tasker Hernandez for the first out of the game. Looks like a concerted effort to slow that delivery down.
We talked about the 5 walks in his last start, and maybe this is something that
hit hard to right center field. Hernandez goes back on it, edge of the track, makes the grab. Couple hard hit balls, but outs. 2 up and 2 down in this first inning brings up Manny Machado. Tries again with a 2-2 pitch. Machado hits one in the air to the left field corner. Pages over onto the track. He's got it in front of the wall. Well, a couple drives in this first inning, but nothing to show for. 1-2-3 for Yoshi. Did
like the Posey rule? I mean,
yeah, it's not the one I was thinking,
right.
But yeah.
What were you thinking?
The one in the 1890s where the guy would just juggle the ball all the way in from the outfield.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I got you. You have to. That's
on the tag up, buddy.
Yeah,
I haven't caught it yet.
Right.
Sheets in the air to right for Tasker Hernandez, and 4 up and 4 down with 4 balls hit to the warning track, more or less. 32-year-old out of Aruba. One of 6 players that's made it to the big leagues from the country of Aruba, which is off of the coast of Venezuela, one island over from Curacao, known as more of the baseball country. Another deep fly ball. Kim going back on it, running out of room, and it is gone. Xander Bogaerts builds off his hard hit ball in the 9th inning last night with his 4th home run this year. And the Padres, for the 4th time in as many games, strike first. And so the Dodgers got him right where they want him.
I mean, the way things had gone, you kind of felt like this was coming, right? There have been a couple balls that right to the warning track, and this one just continues to carry. Having none of the warning track here.
The 1-2 from Yamamoto was down. They got one down there with a slider. Betts goes back, puts it away. Then we go to the bottom of the 2nd with San Diego having struck first once again. Couldn't figure it out. He called his agent. His agent had no idea. Had to do some calling himself. It takes strike 3 here for the first out of the 3rd. Finally figured out, hey, you're getting traded back to San Diego. So he reports to AAA and makes his way all the way back around to the big league Padres with Kelly, or with Merrill going on the injured list. Pauses and deals, and there it is. 6 strikes, 2 Ks.
That's the good jinx, right?
Yeah.
See, when they get on you for like, oh, hey, say that, that's so
Look,
bad.
I'm not capable
yeah,
of that.
so like,
But this, I'm like,
yeah,
right.
that's right. Bring it on. I can do it. I can make it happen.
Magic Man. Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Winds up striking out the side, but a much more routine version of it.
You know what's weird about that, too? If you watch it, Will didn't even act like that was a strike. He didn't even question it or didn't even shake his head. It was just
ricochets off Yamamoto to second, and they get a rise. 1 away, and here's Machado. Pokes the first pitch deep to the right field corner. Hernandez sprints over there to pull it in. 2 away.
Manning trying to ambush him there, jump on that first pitch.
There's a 3-1. Chopper to first for Freddie Freeman. 1, 2, 3, 4th for Yamamoto. Finally getting the ball on the ground here. Really trusting that he could do it here. Curve, chopped to third. Muncy picks it but can't pull the trigger. Bogart's 2 for 2.
Just kind of got himself in an awkward position, not only with his feet, but trying to field the ball, also doing it in a backhand situation. It really was remarkable that he was able to field it, but unable to make the transfer.
Home with another 2-2. Cronenworth with a big bounce right side that has eyes, and it makes its way into right field. Bogarts makes his way to third, and the Padres, with a couple softly hit balls, have him at the corners, and things, I guess, are kind of evening themselves out after those balls they crushed for outs in the first couple innings.
Ball just high enough, and then it has that top spin, so it almost speeds up as it hits the ground. Able to get through before Kim can get over there. I mean, sorry, Edman can get over there.
On 3 pitches, Yamamoto gets him. Fourth K, 2 out.
Maldonado actually did the Padres a favor by swinging and missing, stayed out of the double play, and at least allows Tatis to come to the plate.
The 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to short for Mookie Betts. Over to first. Inning over. Padres add on halfway home, 2-0. Four Ks in this game for Yamamoto. One really good thing is that after he walked a career high 5 last time, hasn't issued any of those. Padres getting a run in the second on a Bogarts home run, and then a run last inning. Bogarts led off with a single and came in a sac fly. Here's a fly to Pages for the first out of the 6th. Grounded to first, stabbed by Freeman. To second for 1. Yamamoto hustles to first, double play. 3-6-1 twin killing to the bottom of the 6th. Smash to center field. Kim sprinting back at the track, can't get it. Bogarts has found something into second with a ringing double, and he's 3 for 3 tonight, 4 for his last 4. With 3 extra base hits. Back to the 9th inning, the last. Tough out this time. 100th pitch from Yamamoto. Got the call in the inside corner.
And I think that thing just clipped the corner of it. Yeah, good call by Marvin. And I got to admit, as a Dodger fan, I love that. If I'm hitting up there, boy, I'll tell you what, I'm hot.
Watching that glove move over there.
Oh, man.
All right, so that ends the night for Yamamoto. His 5th K after he walks a season-high 5 against the Giants on Friday. None of those today. See if the offense can get him some support.